Hi guys, welcome from my garage. Today I want to share with you some good information about adjusting reeds. My low-tech method for adjusting clarinet and saxophone reeds has served me very well for decades now, and I save hundreds of dollars a year, and I use most of the reeds in a box. Sometimes you find a box of reeds that are just all no good. The cane quality of the cane stinks. You got to throw them all out. That happens. But generally speaking, I use reeds from 30, even 40 years ago. I buy hard strength reeds and I need to sand them down and adjust them down. So my method for adjusting reeds is as follows. You need some very simple equipment. You need some 220 wet or dry sandpaper. I cut it up into these little squares just like this. There you go. And it's very good to have a reed clipper. This is a Cordier reed clipper that I've had for many years. I just cleaned it up, took the rust off it. I have a little piece of plywood here that I use to sand my reeds on. So you want to start off with always have good quality cane. If you don't have good quality cane, no amount of adjusting is going to help you. The reeds will always suck. But it's my belief that when you get good quality cane and you let it season in the box for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it dries out, it gets harder. I think it gets better with age. Good quality cane seasons nicely. So I like to find old reeds, and you find cheap deals on really hard strength reeds that no one else wants. I got these right here, these nice old 3.5 Rico Royals, which I've been using. They're great. Okay, so here's what I do to adjust my reeds. Here is my model reed. So what you need to do is take some of that sandpaper I showed you. Here's a used piece with some sawdust from sanding reeds down in it. And I wet the reed either in in my mouth or in a glass. I get it wet and I wipe it off. And then I sand the reed in this area here. Now this area, what it is it's the transition zone in between the tip of the reed and the heart of the reed. This is what you need to sand right here. You do not ever want to sand down the heart of the reed. That needs to maintain its integrity, and you don't want to sand the tip of the reed. It really doesn't matter whether you have a number 1 or a number 5 reed. The tip of the reed is the same thin level of thickness. It's just a question of where the tip, where it starts. A harder reed, the heart will extend, the front edge of the heart will extend closer to the tip, and a softer reed, the front edge of the heart will be further down. So that's what you want to do. If your reeds are too hard, which is I pretty much always start with a reed that's either a bit too hard or sometimes way too hard, doesn't matter. With a piece of wet or dry, 220 wet or dry sandpaper, I fold it over like that, and I sand from the back towards the front of the reed. I sand in that zone, because what you want to do is you want to free up the tip a bit to buzz a little bit more. So you want to move the back of the tip of the reed. You want to move it back, and you want to move the front edge of the heart also back. You want to move this whole transition zone just down a little bit, and I'm talking about a little bit, and you can do that by sanding in that transition zone right there. You might want to take 5 or 10 swipes on this side and 5 or 10 swipes on that side, and then just a few up the middle. And put your reed back on the mouthpiece and try it and see if it's if it's any better. Often when you buy reeds, they're a little bit stuffy. They're maybe an 8 in terms of how they play, an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10, and you just want to get them up to a 9 or 9.5 out of 10, maybe not absolutely perfect. They just need to be freed up a little bit. You just want to free up the tip to buzz a drop more, and you want to sand in that zone, and that will free up the tip. All of these fancy reed tools, I just ignore them. I don't have any use for all of these high-tech gadgets and fancy, expensive, boutique reed tools. Just this sandpaper really gets the job done for me. I use every reed in a box, or I use 8 out of 10 reeds in a box. I use them all. Just because I know how to sand my reeds down. I know how to adjust them. Sometimes you got to clip them. They get a bit too soft. You clip them down a bit, and then you sand them just a drop after you clip them. So you should save some money and save some time. Maybe I take 5 to 10 minutes a week adjusting reeds. I don't spend much more time than that. Once I get a reed that works, I can play it for 2 or 3 weeks. On any given mouthpiece I have here. Anyway, this is what I do. I hope it helps you. You know, I just see a lot of bad information out there. By the way, I do not touch, you see this is a Rico 3. I never touch the flat of the reed. I never even bother. I play good mouthpieces with either very slightly convex, slightly concave, or very flat tables, good quality, well set up mouthpieces. So I wish you a lot of luck with dealing with reeds. It can be a real headache, but it shouldn't be. All right, thank you.